Hi everyone, it's Dinara here. Welcome back to my channel. In my last video, I was really vulnerable and honest talking about different fears that I have in my soul-searching journey, and this video is helpful for people of any professions, for fresh graduates or for people who are just studying, because I'll be talking about different formats of work that I've been considering and that I actually experienced many of them, and I can talk about advantages and disadvantages of different formats of work. So the first and main one that I considered for a long time is going to academia, doing a PhD, and I even passed my GRE and all the exams in the Energy University, but I realized that in the long run this is not something that I want to do. I think that this is a great job because it has stability, because it's paid well in the Western countries, because you can't be fired if you get your tenure, and you have all these summer breaks, winter breaks, spring breaks. Your schedule is pretty flexible. You are teaching 6 to 8 hours a week and the rest is up to you. Well, of course you need to work on like checking homeworks, doing research, but still you have an ability to manage. You can work at nights and spend your days as you want. But then I realized that I will be reaching my ceiling really fast. So the best thing I could do, like being a dean, or if I'm lucky enough being a provost of some university, and this is it. And I'll be doing one small piece of research for the rest of my life, and I realized that this research is rarely translates into the experience, into the practice, and I was really disappointed with that. That's why after receiving my master's degree, I decided that research, academia and PhD is not something that I want to do. But if you're looking for stability, if you're looking for doing research, if it's something that interests you, you can definitely choose this path. The second format that I considered is a freelancer, also very flexible. You can do whatever you want in the scope of your work. You don't have a boss. You decide when you want to work, how you want to work, whether you want to work with this client or not. But at the same time, you have this limited physical capacity. Of course, you can increase the price for your services, but you can also increase this up to the certain point, because then people just go to someone cheaper if the price for your services is super high. So it's very limiting because you can only work productively for 40 hours per week and even less sometimes. And if you're sick, if something happens with you, you don't have any insurance, you don't have any opportunity to sustain yourself. So it's very dangerous, and I think it's also very stressful to work as a freelancer. I was tutoring IELTS as a freelancer and I got good money. It was really something that I liked, but at some point I realized that this is not what I really want to do, and this format is not actually working for me, because at the end of the day I was super tired and I had to keep on going because I needed money. That's why I thought about the other format, which is business, starting your own thing and trying to make other people work for you and you'll get the revenue. It's also not as easy as it seems. So me and my friend, we opened an online school for IELTS preparation in 2020. And once I was sitting in the corridor near my office and teachers were running lessons and I was doing nothing, and it was such a good feeling when you don't really, well, of course I had to do a lot of stuff like hiring teachers, training them, working with clients, but at the same time you know that there is someone who does the work for you and you will get like some money out of that, and you can hire more and more teachers and get more and more clients and increase your revenue, which is impossible when you're a freelancer. That's why I think like starting my own thing or being a blogger is the best for my character, because I want to be flexible. I don't have any ceiling in terms of revenue. The more clients I have, the more revenue I'll get, and I don't have any constraints except for taking a huge responsibility and being responsible for the people that I hire, for their jobs, for their salaries, and for all the business processes. I think it's a fair price to pay when you want to do something and you see you in this field of business. There are also other formats of work, and the fourth one is NGO, non-governmental or non-profit organizations. I worked in that too. I was working for the US State Department project called American Space, where people can learn more about the culture of the United States. They could come to free speaking clubs, and US State Department would fund all the projects that are provided there. I worked in other NGOs, and it's also great in terms of stability, in terms of the salary, in terms of the networks that you got. I get to know a lot of great people, and also the work structure and the culture is usually not as toxic in the corporations, in the international companies that are working for profit. So it was a pretty safe, stable job, but also I reached my ceiling really fast and I didn't know where I want to go next. I also seen the work of the international organizations. I was lucky enough to visit the UN headquarters in Geneva and international labor organizations, and I think this work is pretty boring for me because they do all this like paperwork, they do different projects, and what I also don't like about them is that they are not efficient. I like business that it really represents your effort and it really represents the quality of your product, while in the NGOs you don't have this competitiveness and you know that you'll get a budget anyways, even if your product is not as good. So this was very daunting for me, that my work is not valued and that it's not as efficient as business. That's why I think NGO and non-profit organizations are not something where I see myself. The fifth and close to NGOs is governmental organizations, working in parliament, working in the government. I also didn't consider it. Of course, this depends a lot on the country where you are. Some countries have the transparent and very good working apparatus of the government, but that's not the case for Kazakhstan, where I live, or for I think any other post-Soviet countries. We don't have such a great governmental institutions, and they are low paid. There is a huge bureaucracy there and your work is usually meaningless. So I've never considered it for me, and maybe you could talk a little bit with people in governmental organizations in your countries in order to understand if it's a fit for you or not. What I also dislike about governmental organizations, and I think this is the case for many countries, of course I might be wrong, that they have all these political games where you have to pretend to be nice to everyone and you have to do a lot of extra work in communications, in making this network apart from your real job. And for me, this is not something I tolerate, smiling in someone's face and thinking what bastards they are in reality. That's why I never considered governmental work for myself. And the sixth option, which I never had experience in, is corporations working for international organizations. Salaries there might be really good. You have good chances for promotion if you work hard. They are efficient. They have all these super nice things like fancy offices, coffee machines, and insurance and pensions. So it's very stable, and I think it's very attractive for many people. But now I hear more and more that people in corporations, they want to bring real value, and many people, they want to work on social projects like helping in girls empowerment or working on ecological programs, and many people in the corporations, they have burnouts. But I think this is a great place to earn a lot of experience and to make yourself a safety financial pillow, so that when you're ready to move on to doing your business or doing next things, you will be equipped with experience that you got in these corporations, because all the processes working perfectly there. And second, you'll get to save enough money in order to feel safe when you're searching, when you're soul searching. So I hope this were helpful. Now you know about 6 different formats where you can work, and maybe some of them, according to my experience, are closer to you, maybe some are not. Please leave in the comments down below what is the best option for you. And if this information was interesting and useful for you, please subscribe, share this video with your friends, because the more information people have about different options out there, the better their choice will be.